Hi, my name is Dave Grant. I'm a certified financial planner and the founder of Retirement Matters, a financial planning and investment management company in Barrington, Illinois. This episode of the video blog, we are discussing, and pretty much right to you, are you using the right target date funds in your investments? So sit back, listen, and hopefully learn. So over the last decade or so, target date funds have really become a staple in most 401k plans. Now, if you were to log into your 401k account and really dig around, you'll find that there's going to be an offering of a number of target date funds which you can use to really streamline your investments. So starting at the top, what's a target date fund? If you look at some of the fund choices you have, a target date fund is going to be labeled, for example, Vanguard Target Date 2050. That date is supposed to be tied to your retirement date, and that account is going to be more aggressive the further away it is from that date, and it's going to get more and more conservative as you get closer to that date, and it's supposed to do the whole investing journey for you, and it requires no input from you. The fund manager will actually make it more conservative over time. So if you're younger, you'll tie it to a date that's further in the future. If you're closer to retirement, you'll peg it to one that's 2020, 2025, and supposedly everything is supposed to work like magic. But that's not always the case. Now, if you have two different target date funds from two different companies side by side, if you take a Vanguard 2020 target date fund and you took an American Funds 2020 target date fund, you would expect that they would be almost identical because they're working towards the same solution, but they're not. If you open up the hood on these target date funds, they are not identical. They're invested differently, and some of them are actually a lot more aggressive or a lot more conservative than others, and so it's not actually achieving the goal that you originally set out to do. Now, if you went into retirement with a portfolio that's way too aggressive or way too conservative, your financial plan that you've got set up, which is based on using a set allocation, could be in jeopardy because what you thought was an allocation inside your target date fund is actually not there at all. Another thing that comes along is, well, what are the expenses of these target date funds? Now, if you're lucky enough that you're able to use a number of different fund families in your 401k, you may be able to choose between, a Fidelity target date or an American Funds or a Vanguard or lots of different target date funds. And again, they're all doing the same thing, but they all cost a different amount to use. Vanguard is typically going to be cheap, but some of your more actively managed fund families, they're going to be more expensive to use. So for the same thing, why are you paying double, triple the amount of money than one fund versus the other if it's all the same? You shouldn't be. So then you have to figure out, well, which one is right for you? Now, there's famous lines in investing. You can control two things in your investments. One is the amount of money that you pay to invest money, and two is the amount of taxes it generates. If this is in your 401k, which is typical of when I'm talking about target date funds, you don't have to worry about the taxes because it's all tax deferred and you'll pay it when you pull the money out, so it doesn't matter. You do have to worry about how much these mutual funds are going to cost you. So pick the target date fund that is essentially the cheapest to use because they're all doing the same thing, right? But you also can't just look at the date. If you're retiring in a few years and you pick the 2025 fund, don't just pick the 2025 fund. Open the hood on that fund and say, well, my allocation that I need for my successful retirement is a 60-40 allocation. 60% in the stock market, 40% in the bond market. Mr. Target Date Fund, are you a 60-40 fund? Because I need you to mirror exactly what I need. You can open up the lid, open up the hood on two of the same looking mutual funds, target date funds, and they are not the same. One could be a 70-30, one could be a 50-50. So look around inside those target date funds. If you need help, reach out to me. Or if you like doing this yourself, Morningstar.com is a great resource. It will give you all the information you need, and then you'll be able to not just make an opinion based on the date of the fund, but you know that you've looked under the hood and you completely understand what investments are inside it. Now remember, you get one shot at retiring well. You do need to do some due diligence here. Now, if this is something you don't feel comfortable doing, this is something I feel comfortable doing because I do it for a job. So if you do need some assistance, please feel free to reach out. My name is Dave Grant. You can find me at retirementmattersillinoi.com, and I will see you on the next video.